Hi, this is Mitch Randall with Good Faith Media. We are in San Diego, California this week attending the American Academy of Religion conference. And so we are here tonight with Leah Payne. She just finished up a panel discussion talking about the results of the 2024 presidential election. One of the things that you talked about in the panel discussion, Dr. Payne, was how this MAGA movement is now moving away from American exceptionalism and really landing on Zionism. So can you talk more about that and expand on those comments?
Sure. One of the things that I mentioned is that charismatic and Pentecostal Christianity on the right, so those who are conservative charismatics and Pentecostals, oftentimes have a robust form of nationalism. So it looks like the patriotism that you see on TV with American flags and really enthusiastic depictions of proud to be an American and stuff like that. So it's very patriotic. But if you actually delve into the big ideas about the United States and its role in history and in the world, it's a departure from past versions of American conservatism that really centered on American exceptionalism. So, for example, the sort of Billy Graham era of the Southern Baptist tradition that talks about America as a shining beacon of democracy. Think Cold War, that kind of thing. So for Pentecostals and charismatics in the 21st century on the right wing, they think of the United States as important only having secondary value. So the country, the nation of all nations, the nation that has God's favor till the end of time and that will, in fact, usher in the end of time is Israel. So charismatics and Pentecostals can adopt a very robust form of nationalism as long as that nation is subservient to Israel. And one of the reasons why that's really important is because it's a portable vision. So you can have very robust nationalistic movements all over the world that all share this preference for Israel. And so I think that's a distinct move from prior versions of American conservatism.
One of the things I really wanted to talk to you about, and so I appreciate you joining us for this interview, is that in your most recent book, you talk about the history of the contemporary Christian movement. And as you look at one strand within that history regarding the Pentecostal and charismatic movement, I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, home of Carmen and all of that movement. That's right. But in that spiritual warfare kind of lyrics that were used during that time period, do you see that contributing to the rise of Christian nationalism and MAGA as we know it today?
I think that there's certainly, I think that the way that MAGA Christianity, especially in charismatic settings, which a lot of the big tours, the pro-Trump tours, have gone through charismatic and Pentecostal churches, even though that might not make the news coverage. But a lot of those churches are from those types of communities. There's no doubt that the last 30 years of contemporary Christian music that was, Carmen was probably the most flashy, flamboyant version of that, and I love that you're from Tulsa because that was one of his home bases, and there's a lot of important charismatic history there, and so Carmen was one of the biggest. But what's interesting to me about how charismatic and Pentecostal forms of Christianity made their way into conservative evangelical circles, probably the most influential person was Amy Grant. That might surprise you, but she, as a young woman, read a book called This Present Darkness by an author named Frank Peretti, who was an Assemblies of God minister, and she toured the country talking about how much that book meant to her, and it became a bestseller as a result. And so even though Carmen is definitely the flamboyant, he's sort of like, the Michael Jackson, in terms of his music videos, he would do like the Thriller video. Right. Carmen had a version of that, right, in A Witch's Invitation. Mm-hmm. So he's one that is the more flamboyant version of that. But those visions have really been prominent, even in someone who you might not expect, like an Amy Grant. Right. But Michael W. Smith is a charismatic Christian and a hardcore right-wing, supporter, was hugely supportive of both Bushes and now continues to support the Republican Party. So in the predominantly white contemporary Christian music world, charismatics have been power players for many decades. We just haven't really seen them until now in force. So.
Well, Dr. Payne, thank you so much for visiting with us at Good Faith Media. Thank you for your comments tonight. Look forward to a great conference this week.
Thank you. Thanks for what you do.
Mitch Randall in San Diego, California with Good Faith Media. There's always more to tell.